Hey everyone, this is Dan, the GM, bringing you episode 147 of What the Dice. This episode is going to be a random listener shout out. That means we are heading over to the world of the Twitterverse. And we are going to pull the name Jasper. Thank you for following us on Twitter. Thank you for all the cool stuff that you retweet and that you do. Other than that, I'm going to shut up, except for one more thing. If you want your own random listener shout out, you can head on over to the Twitterverse, Facebook, our Discord, or any of the rating and review sites you go to. Just let me know so I can find them. Sometimes they're hard to find, but we also have YouTube. If you head on over to youtube.com/@whatthedicepod, you can see episodes and videos that we do, as well as the community tab that you can chit-chat with us. So that's all I got. I'm Dan the GM. This is What's the Dice, and you, my friend, are awesome. With spring around, the Adventurers Guild is finally starting to get more and more work. A lot of it is just your standard escort missions from town to town, escorting merchants from one site to another. Usually pretty low pay, nothing that we've been super interested in. But our focus has been more on the story. We find ourselves in the storyteller's campsite, sitting, looking at the fire, waiting for the storyteller to come back with the fish. He walks in and sets the fish on a stick that has been sharpened and begins to roast them over the open flames.
Well, me friends, it seems as if the adventurers have found themselves in a deep cave filled with oozes, bone creatures, and something that they can't quite find. All in the search of some man, some sword master that's supposed to help them. Well, it seems as if the Bone God's reach even reaches out into the strangeness that has become the Rat Kingdom. Well, they are deep into this cave, and they must find this person. Let us continue our tale. Sit back, relax, and hear me tale.
In the last episode, the adventurers had a chance to meet an old rat lady who's giving her directions to a strange man named Everett that lives in a cave outside of town. Kalila returned to get some clarification and solid directions. Following these directions given led them outside the city into a burnt out section of town, or burnt out section of the forest, which led to a cave with stalactites and stalagmites making the teeth of a massive skull. In this darkened area, there's the sounds of creatures moving about. The episode ended with a very quick combat, with two skeletons now laying on the ground, eyes dim before you. What would you like to do?
Lila's just gonna look down at both of the skulls that were once spinning and have finally stopped and dimmed, and then look at the Fibulus and look back down going, did that seem easy?
Way too easy. Which makes me wonder, they did charge us. I wonder if part of the idea is you have to run a gauntlet to see this guy?
I guess.
Strikes me as very time consuming in a state of an emergency.
They probably have a back entrance. I don't know, as she kind of confusingly continues on forward.
Are you just straight out walking, or are you sneaking? What is your plan?
All right, let's try your approach. Mine ended up with two skeletons destroyed.
All right, we're gonna sneak.
Roll your stealths.
Stealthy, stealth. Stealthy, stealth. 40.
27.
As you guys kind of hunker down a little bit and move as quietly as you can, ducking past a few skeleton guards that move past, you start to hear something. Conversation between two people. You inch closer and you're starting to hear the conversation a little bit better. You also notice that there's a single torch light coming from down the hall. You hear, "Well, Charlie, have you had any problems lately?" This other voice responds, "No, but my knee itches really bad." "Charlie, you haven't had knees in a long time. It doesn't mean they don't itch. It could be a memory. I had itchy knees when I was younger." "Okay, Charlie. Well, here's your gold. And here's some candy. Now, remember, you don't need to hurt them. You just scare them a little bit. Well, enjoy your hanging around." The sounds of an old wooden rickety cart is heard echoing down the halls.
Does the cart sound like it's going away from us or towards us?
Away from you.
Kalila's gonna very slowly peek just enough around the corner to see if she could see who was talking.
Perception check.
25.
You don't see anyone. There's no torches that are lit. You just see a shamble of bones and a little rat that runs past. But besides the bones and a few bones that are hanging off the wall, there doesn't seem to be any people.
She's whispering, "I don't see anybody."
Whispering back. Yeah, I definitely heard people talking, so what's going on here?
Would you like to continue on deeper?
Could she tell which hallway the wagon went down?
Yeah, so basically, this hallway is going to kind of bend, and then it's going to go to the north and to the south. The squeaky wheel is going to the north.
Well, we also don't know where we're going in this area. Kalila's gonna take a moment and think about, wait, they're now in a cave and they're going through a cave. She's gonna stop and look around. Are they still in a cave or is there like bricks and mortar now?
This kind of looks like a mix of a cave and a building structure. You see sections that maybe the wall had collapsed, that there are mossy stones that have been kind of chiseled into place and mortared in place. So it's kind of a mix of the two. It's mostly cave with a little buildy bits.
She goes, well, if we can follow the cart and go north, or we can go south. But I don't see any signs saying which way is what. And there's nobody in the hallway except some bones. And a rat.
Could it be that maybe... I'm wondering, could this guy be out to lunch, and that's why he lives here?
She goes, I have no idea. I'm confused.
Well,
This is one way to find your front door.
I'd say let's follow the wagon.
All right, she'll sneak down the hallway and go to turn north.
I'm just going to use your old stealth rolls because those were high enough and you haven't been spotted yet.
Mm-hmm.
As you follow the sound of the squeaky wheels, you get this feeling like there's things watching you from the shadows, and every time you look around, you don't see anything. Eventually, the squeaky wheel stops, and you hear that voice echo out again. "Ah, my little piranhas. I'm betting you're hungry. Let's see, I have some dire rat chum and some dark fey chum. Oh. Looks like I have some vegetables for you. We want you to have a nice, balanced meal." You hear the sounds of things being ploshed into water, and the squeaky wheel continues on. You also hear some grumbling. "Could give us something better, don't you think? Well, times are tough, and, there's a war going on. Yeah, but Rat Chum again? Ugh.
Could Kalila sneak up while they're talking so she can see who is talking rather than wait for them to go away?
Yeah, roll your stealth.
38.
With a 38, you're able to sneak up to the edge, and you see you see the cart turn the corner at the last second, and there's someone in a thick black cloak that is pushing it. Then you look in there, there's a pool of water that's got a green hue to it with bits of meat and bones floating in the water. You see two piranhas with their heads above the water, lips moving, and you think the voices is coming from them, and they begin to eat noisily.
She's gonna look at the Fibulus going, hold on, I'm gonna pull a U, and just walk out and go, excuse me, sir!
Who are you saying that to?
The guy in the cart.
As you say that, the sounds of feet picking up and the wheel squeaking loudly as they're running off.
Darn, I scared him.
You did not do it like me. I would be like, hi, excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't exactly going to impersonate you. Kalila's gonna try and catch up to the cart.
As you cut the corner, you notice that all the torches are lit up now and everything is bright. You still see skeletons, and now they're groaning and pulling at the chains. You see treasure chests that are out in the open, clearly able to be seen, and the wheel or the cart has been abandoned, and it is full of loot, rusty swords and daggers and arrows and gold or silver pieces and candy and bread and meat and all manner of things that you would find scattered in a dungeon. And it is now noisy as these bones are groaning and pulling at the chains.
But they're all stuck in one place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kalila's just gonna walk past them since they're chained to the wall. They can't attack her and look for the guy that was pulling the cart.
It looks like he has bailed the cart sideways, so it's kind of blocking the hallway.
Well, that's an easy climb over for Kalila.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Defibulus is following her?
Yes. You'd think for an elder that helps the village out that he'd be a little more welcoming.
That's right. What is going on? If she's like looking at the skeletons that are just like groaning and chained to the wall. Are they doing anything other than groaning?
They are trying to pull, and like they're held up by their arms, and they are like trying to push off the wall to grab at you with their hands that are chained upwards. You also see that, like, there's a rusty dagger in one of their belts. You hear the chink of gold coins or silver coins in their pocket.
Why does this feel like a training center or deliberately trying to lure people over to the skeleton type thing?
Because, there was a bunch of children. Do you think this is a training dungeon?
Maybe. Hey, let's get going before we lose the one guy, though.
She'll try and track him. 1, 2, 3. Hit over the cart and continuing.
Roll your survival to track him.
Can I help?
Yes, you may.
35.
31
Okay.
or 33. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, that was a 37. I can't math.
As you follow his footprints, eventually they just kind of disappear as there are skeletons that are standing in the way, weapons drawn, and have this classic mummy shuffle towards you, hands outstretched forwards, this bone creaking as they're just groaning towards you.
Are they chained or no?
No, they are free.
She goes, excuse me, we're looking for Everist.
Perception check.
28.
38.
Defibulus, you notice that one in the center, the strange flamey glowiness to his eyes. He kind of looks over to his left, and the one to his left gives the slightest bit shake no. Like, almost like that, don't respond thing as they inch closer.
I'm going to try to persuade them into talking to me.
Please tell me how.
What is Defibulus gonna say?
I'm going to intimidate them into talking to us about where Everest is. 'Cause I don't know any other way, unless it would be like diplomacy or something.
Yes, diplomacy would be another way.
That is a stat thing.
All right, I will try diplomacy.
All right.
21.
All right, with a 21. What do you say?
Look, guys, we've already dispatched the other 2 skeletons that ran at us. You guys are slowly lumbering towards us. It would be beneficial to all of us if you could just tell us where Everest is so we could get on with our day, because we still have a meeting with the elders that we need to go to. So could you please stop shambling towards us and please tell us where he is? Thank you.
That or I might take your shin bones.
It's intimidation.
Okay, roll my intimidate. To bolster his diplomacy.
Of course you would. What'd you roll?
18.
A couple in the back stop and kind of just... They're still shambling, but it's that, like, half shamble, kind of half step, as one of them just went, wait, you're not children.
Nope.
You're very small, though. You're a cat. You don't live here.
No, we don't.
Hey, Eric, do they live here? No, never seen them before. Do we just let them pass?
We were told by an old rat lady in the park to go talk to Everest. And to follow the signs and go through the cave.
Should we ask? That would be a good idea. What's the password?
Password.
That is wrong. You'll
Darn.
just have to do the dungeon like all the other children.
The password is, and I will use an intimidate, my bullet to your face here in a moment.
The skeletons actually kind of chuckle and just step out of your way for you to continue on. Now, short one. It's not very nice to threaten your elders. Go on, have fun in the dungeon. As they kind of put their weapons away and just kind of shamble off.
Thanks.
Having a conversation as if they are all co-workers, like really good co-workers.
Sorry about your 2 friends I shot earlier down in the start of the place.
Oh, they'll be fine. They get reassembled all the time.
Was the piranhas talking?
And they stopped and they went, yes, why wouldn't they talk?
I've never met a fish that talks like that.
Oh, well, we're all not exactly normal. Well, enjoy the candy. Well, not candy, the dungeon. Don't forget to get the candy. It is good candy.
She goes, you don't by chance worship the bone god, do you?
No. Why would we want to worship a god made of bones? Well, he is made of bones. Well, wouldn't that be a little redundant? We're made of bones, too. Does that mean I can be a god? I'll just claim I'm a god, and I'll start my own religion. I don't think that works that way.
I think
Don't talk like that. You tried that once, and you died doing it. It's only because I failed. Well, that means you're not a god. You died.
I think that's how most religions start, but you guys keep working on it.
Which way? That way, you said? Pointing.
Yep. Continue north. Have fun.
Those are the politest skeletons we've run into.
Okay, but our suspicions of this is not normal.
Is anything we do normal?
Yeah, that's a good point. They said continue north, so I'm just gonna keep taking north turns.
Continuing on, you pass a few more skeletons that groan at you, but are pulling at the chains, not getting away.
Gladly just goes, oh, we met your coworkers.
And they just kind of blink for a moment and stop and just kind of sit there. After a while, you get to these massive cast iron doors with icons of different types of creatures of what you would all know as like the demon realm and realms of fire and bones dragging down people into the depths and war and some of the flames seem to move with this strange magical effect.
It's really nice artwork. A bit dramatic, though.
The doors are barred closed with a massive lock. What would
Shall
you
we
like
knock?
to do?
I can use the crowbar and knock and then see if we get a response.
Now, when you say use the crowbar to knock, do you mean actually knock, or do you mean use it to open the door and call that a knock?
I was gonna just tap on the door. It's metal on metal, lot of reverberation than fist.
That sounds good.
You want to call out when I knock?
Sure.
Defibrius will take out his crowbar and knock on the door for her.
My delivery.
As you knock on this massive door, it creaks open, and there's this gush of hot air as it swings open. Flames belch out from the ground as this man stands up in front of a massive bone throne.
Who dares bother me in my home?
There's a flush of lightning and fire.
Who dares bother the Lich King?
There's another bolster of flames as this tall rat skeleton steps down, flames belching from his hands, his eyes, this sickly green glow. Then he stops and looks down at you.
Kalila's gonna be mumbling under her breath to Defibulus at this point, going, they weren't kidding when they said there was a lich.
Nope, definitely not.
He blinks again.
You're not children.
No, you're Everist, I'm assuming.
He flicks his hands and the entire room changes to a very comfortable looking home. There's different types of furniture, and there's a small fireplace in the corner. And there's a older rat that is coming out from behind a corner, his nose twitching underneath his black cowl. He goes,
No, I am the Lich. Please have a seat. It's not often I get adults coming down here. And you said you're looking for Everest.
and he turns.
Everest, we have guests.
A old rat comes out, and he's like, sorry, I think they tracked me when I was restocking the dungeon. Hi, I'm Everest. How may I help you?
Wait, the skeleton who was pulling the cart is Everest?
Yep.
Is it? I thought the skeleton was a lich and the other one is Everest.
Nope. He has, when he pulls his cowl back, you do see that he has large segments of bone, but he is still mostly alive.
She goes, well,
Howdy.
You seem confused. Would you please have a seat? I can get some tea going. The Lich has a very wide assortment of teas and dried meats, if you'd like. And they're mostly for me, but I don't eat much since the zombification. Please have a seat.
Kalila will sit and go, wait, are we supposed to be talking to Everest or the Lich?
Well, I'm Everest. He's the Lich. The Lich is kind of the keeper of all of our records. He helps train the children, and I'm Everest. I've been around so long, I've kind of mastered all the skills. Once the children get to a certain age, we train them in more advanced weaponry or more live weaponry, and I do the training.
So you run the motioning to everything behind her, the dungeon?
We both do. The Lich and I were partners years ago, before he found a way to make himself eternal, and before I became, well, mostly zombie. So we came back to our hometown, and we were originally not accepted as easily until we talked about how it would be beneficial for us to train the children instead of sending them off on their way like the old ways. You know, having a good education is a good way to bolster an adventurer. So we've been doing this for about 80 years now.
Impressive.
So, what brings you?
Well, Kalila is still kind of a little baffled. She goes, well, we had questions about what was going on around the town, and everyone said to talk to you.
Ah, yes, I have ears all around.
We're trying to make our way back to the mainland and get back to the Holy City, and somebody said something that wouldn't be easy.
Ah, yes. So, have a seat, have a seat. There's much to tell, and I will have to get some tea going. Would you like anything else? I have dried meats. I have some very lovely cheeses.
No, I'm good.
We had a big breakfast.
Ah. As you sit on this massive couch, the Lich sits in what looks like a recliner and leans back, and he pulls out a magical book and begins to thumb through it idly. Everist goes to a large bar area, pours some tea and sets it in front of you, and he finds himself a place to sit across from you. Well, let's see. Lately we've noticed magic has been disappearing from the lands, and I sent out a few of my birds to take a look, and one of the things we've noticed is there was this strange skeleton army moving about, made of orcs and humans and all the different races. And they all were convening with these other orc armies that were bony but flamey and very uncomfortable looking. It's not fun to be that hot and be a skeleton. It makes your bones a little bit more brittle, but that's besides the point. Well, this strange bone army started to move in towards Hold's Keep. I had a friend at Hold's Keep long ago. He was a great chef. Didn't make very good pie, though. But that's besides the point. Well, this bone army is being held back by these very powerful paladins, but... Well, the Lich and I started to notice that magic was getting weaker, so we bolstered our magic here, keeping it all within the caves itself. And it seems to help. We've lost a little power, but not much. Every now and then the village will come down and ask our guidance, and we say that, we need to help the mainland as much as we can. So we have sent out boats to send our armies to both Hold's Keep and the Holy City. Well, we found out that there's this strange plague that we have around here with the corrupted fae and the strange darkness that is encroaching in our woods is kind of everywhere. We don't see it as much in the plains and in the desert, but there aren't many people that live out in the desert. None, actually. It's too hot, and not many people who have skin and blood like the desert. You can't grow much things, and cactus can only get you so far. So, yeah, the darkness has kind of made the oceans much deadlier. More sea creatures have turned to monsters, and the ocean itself seems to be against anyone who tries to navigate it. So, yeah, it's been scary kind of for the children. So we try to make sure that all of our skeletons have some really good candy to make sure that the children aren't too afraid of dealing with everything. Give them the extra little bit of a reward for doing a good job.
Wow.
It's always good to positively reinforce children.
Wow, I mean, that's a good idea. I mean, I wish people would have trained me that way.
I like my training in the forest, but it wasn't too dissimilar, I guess.
So, I do notice that the children are trained with just about every ranged weapon there is out there.
Yes, it's how it's always been.
But I don't see any firearms.
Oh, they're hard to get a hold of right now. We wanted to, but with the trades shutting down the last 6 months or so, the oceans have gotten too dangerous, and even the skies are a little deadly to fly sometimes.
So are there no ships going to the mainland right now?
No one's able to get through the seas safely. He looks over to the Lich. The Lich slowly closes the book, and he goes,
Well, I have a friend that needs a hand with something if you adventurers want to help him out. He has lost his home to the Dark Fae, and he would like to return home. He should be in town in the next day or so, and, well, no one should be without their home.
Fair enough. Are you implying that he can get us to the mainland without the use of boats?
he gives a nod.
All right.
Defibulous, I need a perception check.
Nat 20.
With a nat 20, you are looking around and looking at the decor of this place, and it's very upper nobility. Like the wood that you see is the mahogany that is hand-hewn and stained, and the padding you're sitting on is nice and plush, and everything is very nice and fancy. Even where the bone skeleton was, or the bone throne was, there is a large plush chair there. As you look around, you notice something that seems out of place. On the mantle of the fireplace is a brown paper wrapped box. Very similar to the one you found in Godsfell that contained the trigger.
Excuse me, Everest, Mr. Lich.
Yes?
That package up on the shelf there.
Yes, it was brought here, a year, maybe less ago. Brought by a courier, and the courier said he had instructions to keep it safe. He looks over at the Lich. Who sent it?
One of our old friends, and the adventurer, the one that started the tavern.
Oh, Grandpa.
One that never writes.
Yeah, he's bad at writing.
Everest looks and goes, Grandpa, you don't look like him. He was a dwarf, and you are a gnome.
Yeah, he's kind of like a grandfather to me. My parents always told us we kids could call him Grandpa.
Ah,
I can vouch for this.
well, that is your gift if you can prove who you say you are.
Well, what proof would you like?
The Lich looks at you for a moment and stands. And for a rat, he is taller than Kalila, and he outstretches his bony hand.
Give me your hand.
Extend a hand.
He reaches out and touches the center of your hand, and you feel this strange pulse of energy. And he nods, and he goes,
Yep, you are one of the short rounds. Short bolts.
I'm the only one left.
he nods, and he goes,
I will make you a deal. You want that, and a way back to mainland. You help my friend, and we will call it even.
Sounds good to me.
I'm in. Although Kalila is awfully like, what is this coincidence?
the Lich walks back and sits back down in his chair and pulls the book out and begins to flip through it. Everett nods and he goes, well, I guess we need to get you up to topside, don't we?
So, question for you though before we go.
Absolutely. How can I help you?
If I can find a way to get some firearms to you guys, do you want to teach the kids how to use them? I mean, they'd be good for your guards on the walls for picking off those corrupted Fae that are always running around.
Everett thinks for a moment. He goes, you would have to send someone to train me, or train the children, whichever you would prefer. I believe I would be a quick learn. I've learned every other weapon there is. It's a boon for being as old as I am. Though holy weapons hurt a little bit more than they used to. But that's probably because I'm technically dead. But yes, if that's something you could do, that would be an amazing thing.
Yeah, I'd be happy to teach you what I know. I mean, I can pass on all the basics.
He nods and he goes, well, yes, that would be wonderful. So how would you like to get up the top side? We can take a stroll back through the dungeon, or I can take you up the back way.
Kalila's still just staring at the box and then looking back at the Lich and staring at the box, going, how did you know it was a gift for him?
The Lich stands up, picks something off the top of it, and tosses it to you. It is a small little label that says, for Defibulous Short Round if he arrives.
With also instructions of keep safe and hidden.
He nods.
What in the gods convenient? Okay, whatever.
What can I say? Grandpa sent things in very weird places.
And this one he left a note with.
Better than the last person he left it with.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Defibrius will tell Everest. So once we talk to the elders and I do some tinkering, I can come back while we're waiting for our message to get back, and I can teach you all the basics you want to know.
That would be amazing. What message are you sending? I mean, I'm not sure if birds are making it or not. My little birdies have had to return to the nest. Granted, they are bats, but that's neither here nor there, to be honest.
Well, the guy at the bar said that it only took about 5 days. We're trying to get a hold of Nicodemus.
Which Nicodemus?
The one in the holy city. The rat.
Ah, the monk.
Angry guy throws books at everybody.
Ah, he used to be such a gentle soul. And then him and
Oh,
Lester
really?
got in a fight. Lester's never been the same since Nicodemus whacked him very hard.
So he does have a brother.
No, they're not related. They used to be adventuring buddies together. Haven't you noticed? All the older rats here are retired adventurers. We all decided to get together and have our own kingdom. It's very well defended.
Yeah, we're picking up on that. But didn't Lester say that he was looking at Defibulus that he was his brother?
No, that was that cranky fisherman rat.
Ah, Lester is
Lazy Lester was the armor merchant, or the scrap merchant.
oh, the one that talked really slowly.
Yes.
Does he always talk that slowly?
Ever since him and Nicodemus got in a fight, Nicodemus hit him in the head pretty hard with a quarterstaff. We did what we could, but he retired. He's still very skilled as a armorer. Just takes him a little.
What made him hit him that hard?
They had a fight on how to deal with the old corrupted king. They used to call him the Cannibal King. He was an elf that liked to eat other elves. Those two went at it, and Lester said that they needed to capture him and take him to the paladins to be dealt with, and Nicodemus said that they needed to destroy him now. I don't know how that ended. I believe they ended up killing the Cannibal King. Kings shouldn't eat their people. People don't taste very good. I should know. I'm part zombie. I like meat, though. Dire Rats is my favorite.
Good to know.
So, is the cranky fisherman rat that knows how to open large, safe passages on the beach to the city, is he really Nicodemus's brother?
I honestly don't know. He showed up a couple of months ago, just before the trade shut down. He just showed up one day with a fishing pole and just started to fish. He seemed to know his way back to the castle, or back to the keep, so we assumed he used to live here. He's never been an issue. He's a good fisherman. We see him bring in fish all the time.
Do you have any communication regularly with Hold's Keep? You mentioned it a few times.
Oh, I have my little eyes and ears that fly out there once in a while. They're doing really well. They're being led by some paladin I've never seen before. His hair is all golden.
She'll nod. So where are we going, and who is your friend, and how are we going to identify him? Looking back at the Lich.
The Lich looks over at Everest, and Everest goes, I'll take you. The Lich doesn't leave the throne room too often, just in case the children show up. Always want to make sure the big bad boss is in town. So come with me. I'll take you up top. They walk to a rather ornate door and open it, and there's some stairs that lead almost straight up.
Lila will get up and follow.
I'll be back later.
The Lich nods and continues to read. Everest shuts the door behind him and pulls his cowl up to readjust his disguise, making his flesh look a little bit more robust, and is hiding the boned part of him as he slowly walks up the stairs. Now, our friend is a touch different. He's a long-lived human. He always wears black and always has an umbrella over his head during the day. You'll find him at the tavern, probably the one you're staying at. It's one of the better ones. You'll see him drinking a cup of red juice. He's a friendly sort. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he'll help you out the best he can. Well, after you help him, of course. Once you do, we'll get you your box, and we'll find a way to get you to homeland, or to the mainland. I do warn you, though, he is a tad on the creepy side.
Because a lich in a children's training dungeon isn't creepy?
I don't find him creepy, but I also have been with him for a long time.
I've seen weirder.
Oh, well, what have you seen?
There was the cursed swamp that we went through.
I
Trees that were made out of corpses.
It sounds like you went to the realm of death. I've been there a couple of times. I've never met the Grim Reaper. I hear he's rather creepy, too.
I don't know if we've met the Grim Reaper, but there was some strange guardian carving runes that we ended up fighting.
He was a cranky one.
Yeah, he was very creepy.
He gets up to the top of the steps and pushes open the door, and you are on the opposite side of the kingdom, just north of the gate that you used, because you can kind of see it off in the distance. And he steps out and he's like, so the gentleman you're going to meet is Kazamar. He is you'll find him. He's dressed in all black, and he'll be the only one that has a black umbrella. Just let him know that I sent you, and he'll tell you what he needs.
Will do. Kazamar?
Kazamar, yes.
Alright.
And you all have a lovely day. It was nice meeting you. I do hope that you're able to help my friend.
I'm sure we will.
He nods as he starts to walk back down the stairs, shutting the door behind him.
Once he's out of earshot, she goes, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was kind of odd.
And a coincidence. Do we even still need to looking down at not a watch on her wrist and looking in the sky to see what time it is and if they've missed supper or not? Do we still need to go talk to the council?
Yeah, I think we're still supposed to talk to them.
All right.
It has only been about 2 hours since you made the appointment.
All right, so we still have some time to kill and go find this Kazamar. Well, I could do with some lunch. Shall we head back to our keep and keep an eye out for our soon-to-be friend Kazamar?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
How did you spot on the way there? How did you spot that box?
It was just out of place.
Just so particular. I'll have to thank your grandfather, I guess, for leaving a note.
Yeah, I'm glad he did that.
You got poked by a lich.
Well, you got possessed by a tree.
I guess we're fair. We're even.
And to be fair, the box at Godspell also had a note on it.
It did?
It did. It just had Defibulus' name on it.
Oh, yeah. And the one in, yeah, because it had... Alright, that's fair. I forgot about that. So at the tavern...
At the tavern, you walk in. The tavern owner is busily helping with the end of the lunch rush as he sees you. He greets you with a smile and taps the bar, kind of letting you know that there's a spot open at the bar.
Well, it's a good place to sit and watch for Kazamar, I guess.
As you sit at the bar, the bartender, offers you food, drink, whatever you need, and the minutes slowly tick by. You watch the end of the lunch rush end, and you watch as the rats around the area begin to clean up and, move chairs around and make the place look presentable again. After a few moments after that, a human dressed in all black and a black umbrella steps in. Once he crosses the threshold, he slowly lowers the umbrella, closes it, and walks with it like it's a cane. His black tunic is well pressed and clean. His hair is short and trimmed and black. His skin very pale. He sits down at the bar and taps. The bartender looks at him with a less than enthused smile and pours him a strange, thick red liquid into a clear goblet and places it in front of him.
Kalila will look at Defibulus.
Well, I mean, he does kind of match the description.
You want me to get this one?
Yeah, I'll still go with you, but you get to do the talking.
Kalila will get up, approach normally like you do, and go, Kazamar.
The human lowers the drink from his lips and slowly sets it on the table. And as he slowly turns to you, Kalila, you see red eyes, the pale skin, the pale lips, and the smirk that shows vampiric teeth. And that is where we end this week's episode.
Well, 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 me friends, it seems as if the adventurers have met a zombie, a lich, and now a vampire. It seems as if the deeds of darkness seem to have a strange sense of morality and has asked for favors. I wonder what Kazamar's favor is. Needs his home back. I wonder what has stolen it away from such a creature. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. For the moon is high, and it is time for us to say farewell. And as always, me friends, may the dice gods bless your every roll.
We here at What the Dice would like to thank Paizo for creating Pathfinder, Epidemic Sound for our music, as well as Sirenscape for our sound effects. If you would like to reach out to us, you can do so on Facebook at What the Dice Pod, Twitter at What the Dice Pod, and of course email whatthedicepod@gmail.com. And if you liked our little adventure, please share us with your friends and rate and review us.